my name is Teresita Blanco. This is sister. We're continuing with Life Makeover. Been a while since I streamed it. Let me do the sound test. Video is finally over. I just received an invitation to work with the FNC brand. But I was asked to deliver a fair number of opinions within a week, and it's a bit overwhelming. Upon my senior dance student was thinking about how to make the work easy.
Oh, it looks like it's raining.
Really? I didn't feel it. Wow, it's raining. Let's go.
When I left the building, I could hardly sense the rain, and suddenly rain poured down and pedestrians dispersed. Without an umbrella, I had to look everywhere for a place to hide from the rain. When I managed to squeeze myself under a small roof, I was all wet. I tried to stop the few cars passing by and managed to find a vacant one. Can you go to this place?
No. The road over there is flooded, and you can't get through even on foot, so find another way.
Alas, it is not my day. While waiting for the rain to stop, I posted on Vanna my miserable experience today.
Where are you now?
Trapped by rain.
I saw your post on my feed. Send me your location. I'm going back from work and I can pick you up on the way. Just wait there and do not get lost.
Without waiting for my response, he hung up hurriedly. Way from the police station on my way. Then I received a Varna message. Coffee shop, OOTD on rainy days. I turned to the wardrobe sheet. I thought it should take a while for us to come in the heavy rain, and I squatted under the east kitchen at the rain curtain, and a small shadow was suddenly cast on my hand. Roy held an umbrella on over my head, and the ends of the drawers from his white coat were wet from the rain.
Let's go.
We were about to leave, and it suddenly rained even harder. An umbrella couldn't keep us out of the heavy rain. Roy frowned.
Maybe you can stop by my house nearby and change. I'll drive you home when the road is open.
Feeling my hesitation, he added,
Accidents happen on rainy days.
there was no better way right now, and I nodded yes. Roy's house was simple and clean with all things neatly arranged. So too and driven and stood the door hesitantly, and Roy brought me a pair of seemingly new slippers.
It's okay. Come in. You can use the bathroom over there. There's a hairdryer and fresh towels in the cabinet. You should have a change of clothes, right?
Oh, you know me, I have a fresh change of clothes in my bag, and luckily it's waterproof. I lifted the bag and shook it proudly to Roy.
Just go and change your clothes. You'll catch a cold.
Getting no response from Roy, I stopped and got my clothes to the bathroom. He didn't want clothes. I came out of the shower and there was a thunder and lightning outside and no sign of the rain stopping. Still no sign of stopping. And in the living room, Roy was on his laptop. Any urgent work?
Work is always there.
Only for a workaholic like you.
You too.
But I'm not like you.
If you had left work earlier, you wouldn't have been caught in the rain.
That's true, but I don't think my work home is for rest. Roy darted a look as if it disturbed me and said nothing. I didn't bother to argue and threw myself on the sofa. I laughed when it the rain went to stop.
It won't stop for a while. It's late. Go sleep first.
I looked around the house and there was only one bed. Yeah, he lives alone and there's only one bed, of course. I raised my eyes to Roy, who was typing away on the keyboard, and I don't think he noticed my look, but he had a slight flush on his ears. The rain kept falling and the humid air outside seemed to seep into the house, and it was intense. I cleared my throat and voiced my doubts. What about you?
I'll get the sofa.
You work so hard and you can't work well on the sofa.
Then you sleep on the sofa?
Great. Confounded he didn't expect the answer.
I'm just kidding. It's okay. A rainstorm alert has been raised and all the nearby roads are closed. I have to work all night. Just take the bed.
I started looking at the Papa News alert on the tablet as he handed it over. Looks like I had to stay. Roy turned his gaze on the screen as if he was getting something important done.
New text message.
Alright, time to change outfit. Looking at the busy road, I finally say, what case are you looking into? Is there anything I can help you with?
About injury identification. Just leave me alone and go to sleep.
Well, I'll leave a forensic expert alone. I thought I could take a break here and go back when the rain stopped, so Roy could have a place to sleep if he ended the day with business early. But the moment I rested my head on the fluffy pillow, the days of fatigue suddenly came to me. It didn't take long for me to fall asleep. Well, what time is it? Gulpy, I reached for the phone next to me and found that it was early in the morning. It was still raining hard outside the window, and I tried to do the study and saw Roy still working, and I got back to the bedroom, leaving him alone. A frame on the shelf came into my view. This seems familiar, there is a line. Then let the world forget me. I searched the text and page.
Retrieving. Here, the picture is from the movie Life Carousel, and the text is its line.
So it's a still.
Life Carousel, released 31 years ago, and was the top grossing movie of the season.
The scene in Merry-Go-Round. There's a very similar movie poster Roy's in Memory World, and the movie should mean a lot to him. What does the wooden horse in the Memory World look like now? I've lived through a few more stills and impressed by fine costumes. The costumes are special and delicate, perfectly suitable even in a doomsday scene. I wanted that and I got a beautiful dress. After I got dressed, I took a few steps in the bedroom and bumped into a sleepy-eyed Roy. A minute later, started holding a cup on one hand on the back of his leg, and he seemed to have a painful neck.
You're up?
With sleepy and confused eyes, Roy seemed to take a few seconds to see me clearly.
This is...
Being recalled into memory, because never mind having a normal conversation when you're a telepath. How did I come in? It's because of the costume, but completely different from what I saw last time. What happened? Recalling in the TV I saw last time was a little worried, and I was daytime and it seemed gentle twilight hours. And the grass behind me, and there was a sea, and it spanned for feet, and it seemed like a scene from a fairy tale. Compared to the desolation after Roy's memory seems much softer and more beautiful. Perhaps he has let go his guilt over his father, and the carousel turns even without a star on the top. But there are still many broken parts suggesting Roy's confusion and helplessness. What if it accused the carousel of being fully repaired? I ended the mind civilization was missing it, and Roy looked like he was not awake. He held up a cup in there and asked if he had woken me up. It's raining hard and I was woken up. And with the cup in hand, he tried to check if the windows were properly closed. And I thought that you were a robot and he happens to be you too. And I couldn't help but joke with him as he looked more endearing in a daze. And I held the frame and waited to him. What is your relationship with this girl? Eyes widened in confusion, and Roy tried to reach out for the frame, but I easily dodged him. And he opened his mouth to say something, but he looked at me for a moment and let out a helpless sigh.
You already know that, but you're still trying to trick me with this childish play. You're wearing the dress in the movie, right?
I got caught. Turning the tower and handed him the frame. He looked at me and shook his head.
It's a limited edition collectible to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the film. The crew gave it to me. Because the heroine is my mother.
And with his word, he walked away and put the frame back on the shelf as if avoiding my eyes. I felt like his mother was an actress, or was an actress. And I thought about it, but it was a big shock when I heard the truth. That's why he has the collective things about the movie.
It's a movie from a long time ago. I don't know if you've watched it.
I shook my head.
If you want to see it, just turn on the projector here.
Roy put on a Blu-ray disc in the place, suggesting I could watch it whenever I want. I can't believe it's a disc. I haven't seen a disc in ages, for ages. This is the future, and discs have gone the same way as the floppy.
This is the first published version, and I'm used to it. There's also a digital version on demand.
Well, I'll go with this. I took the disc out of the faded cover, and it wasn't good as new, and I could tell he had taken good care of it. Together, but you must have watched him how many times? And I made an invitation as Roy watched with his laptop to get back to work.
I can watch it again.
I couldn't help but smiling about his awkward look, and another new message from mine right now. And to do another word or change. it was a bit to say too bad then, and even I heard about it.
In fact, the story and techniques are a bit old-fashioned. There are occasional screenings at film festivals, but very few watch them now.
And yet I was completely blown away by the film, wandering in an apocalypse, the heroine found a carousel in an abandoned amusement park, and if she could reverse the direction of the carousel, she could put the clock back and protect her family. And the carousel in Roy's memory is going counterclockwise.
What?
Oops. Roy asked suddenly, and I realized that I just accidentally said it, and I quickly changed the subject. By the way, I heard the rule of time travel is not to change what happens in the future. It is possible that the necessity stuff for the moment may come in some other way.
Well,
No spoil it, I'll just watch it myself.
didn't you? Forget it.
I blinked at his look of resignation and that nothing had happened. Guess he must know that I'm a telepath or something. After many attempts, the heroine found that she could only postpone the disaster to be with her family for good. And a disaster couldn't be eliminated, and it just happened sometime later. Wow, I can't believe it's true. And I turned around and found Roy resting his head on my shoulder asleep. And I was too afraid to notice it. And at this point I could feel his regular breathing on my neck. Stressed for working through the long night. And he didn't feel well as his eyelashes trembled slightly in the changing lights of the screen. And I think he must have seen it many times, and he just fell asleep at the critical moment. But does he often stay up all night like this? And I turned down the volume and continued to watch the movie as Roy leaned against me. Finally, the heroine found the only way to eliminate the disaster. She had to disappear from the world to offset the apocalypse that was supposed to come. But this way, her traces in the world will be completely erased, and her family will forget her. I guess she had to do a Madoka Magica to avoid the disaster. So that's what Madoka Magica had to do in order to finally defeat Valparkisna.
Then let the world forget me. The carousel will go for me, one last time.
As the movie ended, I was still blown away. Extremely tired from where Roy was still deep asleep, and I tried to get the remote control, and I gently lifted Roy's head so that he could sleep on the couch. A kitten suddenly jumped out and ran across around the living room meowing. Roy woke up. Cats just being the absolute worst, waking out their owners. I held back at Roy's head in an awkward position, and he immediately rose to his feet, and I removed my hands.
Phew.
You just fell asleep.
Well, I know. Have you finished it?
Yeah, it was wonderful. Before I could talk about the plot, we brought the meow sounded again. Is it hungry?
It's out of power.
No power.
It's a cleaning robot.
Haha, I never expected a cleaning robot to resemble a real cat. Don't tell me that it has a name.
Fobelu.
Well, amazing. I squatted down and looked at the meowing Fobelu. And Roy rubbed his head as if he was a real cat. Or maybe he's just embarrassed about having a flesh and blood cat. And when was the animation released from Myra? I tend to change the outfit again. The Mia song disappeared as Roy took the robot away to charge it up. And in the sudden quiet when I remember the topic I wanted to discuss with Roy, but it was interrupted by a loop. If you could go back in time, when would you like to go back to? Surprised on my question, Roy froze for a moment and made no answer.
What about you?
I thought he was a bit sly in turning the question back, but the question came to my mind many times when I was watching the movie. I said it right away without hesitation. Oh, I'm not sure.
Not sure.
There are things that I want to change, but I don't know when to go back to if I want to stop my sister from leaving. If I could make the carousel in the movie, I would try as many times as the heroine. It's your turn.
Maybe before I was born. I wish I had never been born.
Wow, that's sad. Roy said in a lower, muttering voice. The unexpected answer left me overwhelmed.
Nothing. Just kidding.
Trying to seem unconcerned, he raised the corner of his mouth slightly, but the tone just gave me a sense that it was not a joke at all. He had seriously thought about it many times, but if I ask him now, I'm afraid he'll feel resistant and afraid at the thought of this. I don't know if he noticed my dilemma before I could ask. Roy came up to me. He took out a tablet and handed it to me, and on it was a recent interview with Paola.
You might have heard of her.
Yeah, she's one of the best sci-fi directors with a new movie coming out these days.
She used to be an actress, too. She was good friends with my mom when they were young. She even worked behind the scenes earlier than my mom.
The female director mentioned is one of the most famous directors. And I only see one of Roy's mothers that was in, and yet I can see how talented an actress she was. With such an amazing artistic insight, if she could stay, I can see why Roy would think that way.
If I was not born, maybe she could direct such a movie too.
But why does he have to die? I don't know, maybe he thinks that his police work is meaningless because, I don't know, like criminals get caught and like he gets his forensic evidence and then maybe some sly lawyer makes all of his hard work crumble to dust, so he feels like he's just wasting his time in this round earth. Because it must be frustrating, I saw that. I guess that Roy blames himself for preventing his mother from fulfilling her dream. Did she stop acting for Roy? It is sad, but how could Roy reproach himself for that? And at the thought of another story, I couldn't help but ask Roy.
She died because of a difficult birth.
So he feels like guilty because like his mother died giving birth to him. Well, that was beyond his control. If anything, he should be angry at the doctor person. I never expected such an answer, and I blame myself for asking with such an intrusive question. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have pride in your affairs like that.
Sometimes I wish you could read my mind, like when you investigate a case. That way I don't need to say it myself anymore.
Well, looked at me with a bitter smile rarely seen.
But after sharing it with you, I seem to loosen up a little bit.
As I feel ever since, if he could let go of his younger brother, he could live more freely. And yet the shackle made of self-blame and guilt was far heavier than I imagined. When watching the movie, I wonder what actor can play such a role.
What do you think?
A good actor can play many roles, but in such a movie that progressed closely with the heroine, she's acting out her own life.
Do you mean she is like the role in the movie?
I was just guessing. If ignoring the look and the acting skill, would the director choose an actor who better fits the movie? If she died for something, maybe like the heroine, she made a decision that she would not regret. I turned my head to look at Roy, but when catching my look, he suddenly looked away. The sun was blazing high, and a ray of sunlight came in between the curtain and shone on Roy's face. My phone rang up, but it is from a client.
What's so urgent?
The client asked if I can deliver the work in advance, and I had to finish the design back in my
I'll
studio.
walk you out.
Sure, I need a minute. I strode forward and drew the curtains apart, and the sunlight outside poured down and filled the room instantly. I don't know. It may fail to know what kind of person your mother is, but one would always reveal his or her true self unwittingly. Maybe her choice to die is no different from your thought that it's better that you had never been born. Now that you have survived, make your life worth it and don't make her regret her choice. Okay, let's go. Though being loud, I was afraid to see Roy's reaction, so I turned around immediately.
I get it.
It was not a definite answer, but his tone sounded gentle and tender. And I turned back and saw the sunshine coming from behind him, and his world looked bright and brilliant. And after packing up my things, I asked Roy to wait for a while. I had to change outfits. Without a single word walked me out, and the sun shone brightly outside, and puddles were only closed by the heavy rain last night.
Hey, why are you standing here? Going out?
No, I need to get back to work.
Me too. I'm going to the police station for duty. I thought you two were going out since Roy was not on duty today. What a pity.
You'll be late if you don't leave now.
It's still early, and my long legs can take me there in only 5 minutes. She is going to work. Well, why are you here too? To work beside her?
Hail a cab.
A cab? Where are you going?
I wanted to take a taxi and he saw me off.
Wow. I can't figure out why it takes two to hail a cab.
Phew.
Well, I need to go. Bye-bye. No goodbye to you, Roy, since we'll meet again the day after tomorrow.
Shirley asked his daughter and I found a cab and said goodbye to Roy. You can always come to me and we can see a movie together next time. He hadn't answered yet, and when the cab went far away, I could still see him standing at the crossroad as if he was watching me. And it was already afternoon when I sent a design to the client, and without any food for a day, my stomach grumbled. What to eat, and I am already sick of being in the takeout nearby. And the door rang and I answered the door while wondering who could it be at this point in time. And it was Roy, and he seemed to be carrying something in his hand. What brings you down this way?
You said in the morning I can always come to you.
Sure I did, I just didn't expect you to come to my place. Welcome in, what is it? I took the bus from Roy and it was a little heavier than I thought.
Bento.
Did you make it?
Yes.
You came just in time. I got hungry and was browsing the takeout bar. And my stomach screamed again, though Roy did not laugh at me, and I seemed to see a half smile on his face. Laugh if you want to, I owe you one. And I opened the bento box and saw home-cooked dishes and the mixture of vegetables and meat looked good and tasty. Wow, I didn't know you can cook.
They are only some simple home-cooked dishes.
I have not had a home-cooked meal for a long time, and this was what I missed the most. And it reminded me of the day when my older sister was still around. And though being busy, she would sometimes make me a bento, and we would eat together in the office. And I never thought I would have such a great time again. But why did you make me a bento suddenly, and do you want to return the favor? And I just can observe Rose's reaction, and he rolled over and seemed unconcerned.
It is simple. I can cook every day if you like it.
I realized something and looked very pleasant and surprised, and he looked away and got nervous.
I need to eat too. I would just cook more. Eat up. Otherwise, the food will get cold.
After he said that, he lowered his head and started eating again, and he refused to look at me again. And I got a large spoon of steamed hot rice like him, and I showed the rice carefully, and a faint sweetness lingered in between lips. That's a new one that I unlocked. Let's bite into it. After executing the trader farm with my own hands, I hurried to get started and I switched on the desk lamp. And a circle of mingle with the same scent of incense, and then I exhaled a long heavy breath on the sofa. And behind me the heavy pair of doors shut swings and was sealing away the chaos and the noise of the outside world. At last the mass are warm before the others can be laid aside. Yet the well usually run. The gun barrel on the desk still holds the warmth of my fingertip, and the gunpowder scent lingers in my nose. Did I really become like him? Half an hour ago, the trader burst out of the scene without a warning, and I made the hour I kept my coat and raised my gun and with a steady resource to quell the turmoil. As the system moved exactly like Mr. Garrow back then, he had the skill that called me impressive. But my heart ached fiercely, and though I'd been the one to pull the trigger, the echo of that gunshot stabbed straight through me. And once again, the memory plays out vividly before my eyes. It was bright sunlit afternoon a few years ago, and the town had finally come back to life after the plague, and its streets alive once again with a bustling crowd, and gave a change into a soft white shirt smiling gently, beneath the pale trees and a box of cakes grabbing my arms. Let's go check out the photo studio, she sister. Sure, sounds perfect. Bang! And a sudden piercing gunshot shattered the car, and in an instant the crowd screamed and scattered, and Gabriel shielded me with his body. And I watched him hurl as a bullet tore through the air, striking his chest with deadly precision. And his spray-stained white shirt blossomed instantly with a vivid scarlet stain. Quickly take it, I saw how I thought it, and he gasped and steadied himself as he pressed a freshly loaded pistol into my hand. Bam, bam. Since that day I had taken Gerald's place. But ever since then, the sound of gunfire has pierced my heart like a knife, and only when I sit quietly in his soul study for a moment does my restless soul find some measure of peace. And I rise and cross the last desk and sit in the chair where he had always sat before. And nestled in a drawer beside the desk is a small metal box inside and a palm grenade, a gift from Gabriel long ago. As a sister, happy birthday. And I opened the box, and there lay a finely crafted pistol shimmering with a faint blue glow, and I could hardly believe what I was seeing. Was this really meant for me? Yes, take it. At least this way I feel a little more at ease. I have a gun now, but I don't know how to use it. You never get just a gun. Seriously, will you teach me? My pleasure. And Jeva grabbed my hand gently and guided me through each step of how to load and how to aim and fire. And his palm was warm and dry and striking constant with a cool metal gun. And you had to learn to use it, but I hope you never actually need it. Don't worry, I'll learn it well, I promise. And the birthday Gabriel gave me to give a gun himself. And a few days later, just when I thought the surprise were over, he slipped a delicate steel box across the table. I saw them in the jewelry shop, and I heard girls like this. And with care, Gabriel delivered me a hairpin from it, and his eyes quietly searching for my reaction. And I turned it over in my palm, and then I handed it back, gently pulled him towards the dressing table. And through the mirror, I caught a rare flicker of hesitation on his face. And I know this still I feel, then we can choose again. I like them, each one of them. And I caught him out, giving him giving his arm a playful nudge. Are you going to try putting on one for me, yourself for me? And he paused, and I saw a smile tugging in the corner of his eyes. All right, as long as you like them. Watching his focus so intently, I while in the mirror couldn't help but smile softly, and he gazed at my reflection with tender affection, and his fingers lingered gently as they traced through my hair. I heard from my friend that a new photo studio had just opened in the Western photographer, reputedly quite skilled, and when I'm done with things at hand, and let me take you there for a portrait. Really, but I heard we having a picture taking costs much as a month of food for an ordinary family. Money is tight everywhere, and our life stretches ahead, and this can't wait until things settle. True enough, and when the dust settles, we'll go together. Over time, we changed small gifts from the Parker pen in the deep blue marble field to the latest sunglasses and some curious stretches and a tiny snowflake carved with a sapphire or a star-shaped lamp. And I tucked them all carefully away, hidden in places only we knew, and a sudden gust rushes to the window pane. And I settled on the hairpin and reached for a bottle of ice soda from the shelf. And I constantly he studied another the ratio at the time, and he sat in with a silver just enough to sharpen his sense, and when he felt restless without getting drunk, bubbles rise and burst on one another while the icy drink slips down my throat. And it's caused a heat clinging to my skin, but I can do nothing but storm swimming inside of me, and I'll set the cicadas drones without pause. Because there, of course, it's always cicadas going like insane, always like in Japan or elsewhere. Always in anime situation. So I may have reached his fiercest point again. The first time I saw him, the world had been just blistering, and I was 8 or 9 years old and already my parents and sisters long gone, and wandering the chaos of the street chasing scratches to keep myself alive that day. Another clash had broken between the rival forces, and gunfire, curses, screams woven together in jagged noise. And I dug into a alley and found him there, a boy bounding in his corner and his body marked with bruises. And he wore one of the new Western style uniform and a gag stuff in his mouth, and his eyes wide and watchful. And me mine not far away, a few men stood smoking and murmuring under their breath. Who are they, and is that what I think this is? And my heart lurched and my eyes swept the alley and landed on a bottle of soda that had been knocked over. And gathering what little courage I had, I picked up a few shards, broken glass, and I cried towards the boy. And he sensed me at once, and his body went rigid, and his eyes wary fixed on my hands, glittering in my hand. And swiftly I threw away the cloth and slipped the half-eaten cake in his mouth and made a quiet plea for silence. And he understood at once, and with my help he cut through the rails around his wrist and took off running with me. And we didn't stop until we spilled into the grand courtyard, and then he suddenly let go of my hand and took a step back. Thank you, and who sent you? No one, I just happened to be passing by, and under the steady weight of his gaze, the courage that had carried me this far crumbled, and my voice got thinner. You don't know me. Haven't you seen me in the papers? I looked up and shook my head. Now I could see his handsome face, and without the money for the newspaper, there was no reason I could have known him. Well, then I am Geralt, and what should I call you? And he couldn't have been more than a few years older than me, yet his voice carried a composure beyond his age. Artsy's sister. Flustered, I lowered my head, unsure as how to answer. Sensing my uneasy step closer and resting a hand on my shoulder. Don't be afraid to say me, and I'll see to it that you're safe now too. And seeing that I had nowhere to go, the young master brought me back to the residence and in front of everyone. He recounted how I saved his life and his solemn grace, and that he would take me as his sworn sister. From this day forward, you're my sister, and tell me what is it that you wish for. I want to keep studying, and I learned to read a bit, but later my parents were gone, and so was the chance to learn. Very well, from now on, you study with me. And from that summer on, when I became Geralt's family, and even the morning he brought me the lessons with the tutor, and the world began to grow wider before me. And in the evenings he practiced swordplay in the courtyard, and I sat nearby cheering with all of the pride I felt. And he never hesitated to share his books with me, and often explained things even the tutor couldn't. And he told me about the constellation, the universe, science, industry, and the promise of progress. And when he spoke of those things, his face would lit up, and he couldn't wait to grow older to make his mark onto the world. You know so much, young master, you're bound to do great things. And I looked at him with admiration my heart could hold, but for some reason he only frowned. Don't call me young master, call me Gege, whatever that means. Or just call me by my name. Alright. Gege will be, could you help me get that introduction to science from the top shelf? And he paused and his eyes suddenly bright, though he pressed his lips together in an effort to match his smile. Right. And he told me to read, to discern right from wrong, and he spoke to me about the 15 types of the world. And together we bore witness to an era of turmoil and transformation, and as the years went by, our life began inexplicably bound. And yet when it came to matters of principle, how to deal with all this conflict between us was always inevitable. Once the butler exposed his whereabouts, unfortunately the mistake was discovered before it led to disaster, and he's too old to stay alert. Can you give him another chance? I will raise everyone's safety on the virtue of one man. And Geralt had a reputation of ruthless precision, and even without those faithful, he spared no leniency, and to him only unwavering discipline and perseverance preserved the fragile stability that we had won through hardship. And in times like this, in a position such as mine, a single mistake can mean total ruin. And I knew that he was right, yet I couldn't help but feel a pang of pity and a quiet ache at his severity. Until one day I bore witness with my own eyes the blood-soaked truth of the world we lived in. It was another sweltering summer day, and the cicada's breath of chorus trod on my frayed nerves. And after finishing my work, I made my way to Geralt's study as we arranged in a calm bow pressed onto my chest. And I haven't even reached the door when the scrape of shins broke the stillness, followed by the man's plea. Boss, I was wrong, and I will never do it again. Please just this once spare me, and for your sake, all the years I served you. I froze my step, and though the house opened door, I saw Geralt reclining lazily on a chair outside scanning the newspaper, and at his feet a man kneeled on the floor, trembling like a leaf caught in the autumn wind. Geralt didn't so much as glance at him, and he only played with a glass on his hand. And his movements slow and deliberate, and his expression serene, yet in those grey blue eyes, I caught a glimpse of the unmistakable edge of eyes, and a chill cut through me. Instantly I turned to leave, but the door gave a long, sharp creak as it swung open. The man on the floor looked at me, and his eyes widening with desperate hope, and he struggled toward me as if I were salvation itself. But before he could utter the word, the guards gagged him as they dragged him away. The echo of his muffled sobs trailed off from the corner, fading into the heavy summer. Why did you come in? Geralt rose with his usual ease and slipped away at the waist. And his voice was soft, and his eyes touched with a faint smile as if the cold, pitiless man I couldn't see earlier was my imagination. It's a hot day here. Have something to cool down. And I dissected the glass he gave me, and the shield surface kissed on my fingertips and sending a small shiver through me. And the air still carried the same metallic scent of blood, and yet from him came a subtle fragrance. Chris' understanding almost glacial in its clarity, so clean it made me dizzy. The man just now, what did he do? I hesitated setting down the glass before the question slipped from my lips, and the smile on his face faded, and he paused for a moment and then quietly added a few more ice cubes to the bottle. Coloring was a foreign mention and dealing opium. And I leaned towards him, smoothing his frown, and then in silence I drained the half-empty bottle in a long swallow. A few months ago, the plague swept to the city. The medicine market descended into chaos, and prices soared, and counterfeits spread like wildfire, and the people seethed with anger. So I guess that COVID made it to the world of Life Makeover. Just when our host in-laws gave us storming to the scene with unrelenting force, and he poured in his own capital and secured control of the major warehouses and took over most pharmacies. And in a matter of days, he dominated the entire medical trade. And though his prices were far fairer than those of the black market, resentment still followed him like a shadow. A profiteer feeding on disaster, a vampire driving down the nation's suffering. Such accusations echoed throughout the world, and to the public he was a cold-blooded tyrant. And I know your intentions are for the greater good, and yet I'm afraid that the people will lose faith in you. Time and time again, I urged him to soften his approach, to stop turning the whole world into our enemy. And he just smiled and pushed a neatly drafted plan across the table. And that was the way he was leaving every chance to soothe their hearts and men trust to me. And he laid out our strategies while I was once to face the displaced shopkeeper offering their new work. And he provided the funds, and I gathered the people to build shelters and offer free refuge to the homeless. Go, I know you'll do well. And are you really not coming with me? As long as you show your face, they'll believe you're the good one. In times like this, it is no harm if they fear me. And so I became what the people call an angel, the only conscience on Jero's side, while Jera himself carried the weight of every curse, every accusation. And at first I thought his route was just an efficient way to build a capital and save the nation. But then without warning, he personally ordered the execution of several pharmacy managers, including a man he had called brother for years. The city trembled and rumors spread like wildfire, tales of tyrant cruelty and his greed, his heart of stone. And the curse's ninjas still bent their knees, and they could not live without his medicine. Why did this happen? And the official story blamed the dead man for holding supplies and driving up prices. Yes, they are guilty, but not crimes worth dying for, and at least that was what most believed. And from that day on, the sky never seemed to clear, and the cold grew heavier with each passing day, and winter came earlier than everyone expected. And as always, Gera wished for me, seeking warrants, but this time I couldn't bring myself to respond as before. Tell me, did they really deserve to die? I had never spoken to him in that tone, and he froze and his hand lingered in my ear, and a flicker of astonishment crossing his eyes. Then without a word, he pulled me into his embrace, and his silence was heavier than the cold itself, and I could feel the rapid beat of his heart, and his tongue tightening something deep inside my chest. You're hiding something, aren't you? You have another plan, don't you? You're still not going to tell me, are you? And my composure came apart, and my words spilled faster, trembling by the end. Gerard, am I not supposed to know what you're doing? He stiffened, and then he lowered his gaze, and his fingers brushing across my brow, so achingly soft. It's my fault. Will you give me a chance to make it right? Gerard dismissed his attendants and drove himself to the heavy guarded compound of the outskirts. And the moment the door swung up, a suffocating stench of chemicals sweat and vomit mingled together, rushed out, and inside the bleak, narrow cells were figures so gaunt and hollow as they barely resembled humans, and some were smashing their heads against the wall in a frenzy, howling like wounded animals, and some crouching a corner, trembling uncontrollably, and their eyes wide with terror. Others knelt on the filthy floor, crouching their arms and pleading with the doctors between screams. Give it to me, give me the medicine. If you don't, I'll kill you. And just let me die, please. End it already. And a man, unable to withstand his storm and a withdrawal, bit through his own tongue and collapsed. He's dead. He finally died. And a sharp gas escaped me, my stomach twisted in horror, and before I could stumble, Gerald's arm caught me from behind and pulled me away from that living hell. They are the survivors of the plague, and they had taken the so-called miracle cures from those pharmacies. And he pulled out his mouth inside, and a flicker of regret in his eyes. Sorry, I shouldn't have scared you. It's alright, and there's nothing to fear in the truth, and you should have shown me this sooner. And I replied, forcing a smile. And on the drive-by, he explained everything, the real source of the corruption. Only then did I grasp the full weight of it, and the people had executed were truly beyond forgiveness. Also, like the weird, sketchy, weird cures that they gave them just made people completely bad, completely out of their mind. So then he executed them for like medical negligence. Can you imagine if that happened in the? Well, that doesn't happen in the real world. Whatever. Moving along, people getting actually punished for selling sketchy medicines. They conspired with foreign smugglers, mixing narcotics into the medicines meant to combat the plague. And in time when the nation was on the brink, they traded their lives of their people for profit. And his voice carried a deep exhaustion, and in those times he bore the name of a tyrant and ruled with an iron fist, not out of cruelty, but to keep everything under strict control, ensuring the medicines people receive are truly life-saving. And he rather shoulder the burden of wrongful death than risk getting the truth about these drugs public. And his chaos spread the master would only seize greater opportunities to exploit. I see you did what was necessary, and the moment I found the man just captured was guilty of betrayal, and if fakely no sympathy vanished. And I lifted my gaze to meet Gabriel's eyes, and his eyes searching at mine as if waiting my response. And without a word, he pressed a pistol into my hand, and his ever-present 30-shot revolver. He's not dead yet, locked up in the backyard. You know what to do. I stood frozen, and outside the fallen leaves parted a breeze, in colors drowning restlessly, and gave a step close behind me. And in my chest, resting against my back near my ear, he whispered the instruction once more. Following the routine, I loaded the chamber, steadied my trembling, and slowly raised the gun. My fingers shook. Don't be afraid, I'm right here. You have to get used to this. And his hands covered mine, and firm and steady, guiding the barrel towards the target ahead. Fire. And I closed my eyes and twisted an agonized faces from the hospital flashed into my mind, and then I squeezed the trigger. And it was the first time I ever took a life. Yeah, but I'm a little scared. Did you do something cross your mind? I keep thinking about those who are falling into addiction, and promise you you'll never become like them, okay? I promise I will never will. I could draw a slave to my palms as tears broke free against my will. Boom. And a sudden clap of thunder shattered my thoughts, and I blinked and pulled myself back to the present, and outside of the sky is a heavy black rain hammering against the texture of glass. And I rise to close the curtain and to draw the curtain as it shuddered into the storm that rages beyond the wall. And the starry is quiet except for the steady tick of the clock in the corner. And I turned to the last photograph hanging on the heart of the room. And in the frame, Gervais pointed on the stage tire, but with a faint, gentle smile, turning his lip, and his eyes looking at me. As always, I reached out and fingers brushing his pale cheek, but my hand missed only a cold, unyielding wall. I will never forget the story behind that photograph. After a long, arduous battle, the plague finally listed and gathered the order returned to the city, and in the end, Gervais was unwavering in resolve and a steadfast action that saved this battered city. In that day, I accompanied him on tour to inspect how the shops and businesses were recovering, and I took the chance to visit the city, a first newly opened photography studio I've been eager to see. And as we passed through the narrow alley, Gervais suddenly came to stop. Wait here, I'll be right back. And another pretending to agree, but quietly followed him, silent footsteps. And there he was, the illustrious young master, personally bought a pound cake. And when he caught sight of me, I darted forward and feigned surprise as I playfully teased him and leaning in to sniff at his shirt. Wow, it smells wonderful. And is that the scent of cake, or is it just you? Oh, the scent of soul shows for me. That's right, I like the scent. And gave a smile a little hopelessly and handed me the warm, steaming cake. Let's go check out the photo studio, Artsy sister. Sure, sounds perfect. Bang. And his mouth still lingered, but his shirt was already soaked in bright red, and a sudden roar filled my mind, and there was no time to feel fear or sorrow. Bang, bang. And I snatched the loaded pistol from his hand and shot directly at the source of the threat. Hang on, our people will be here any minute. And my voice trembled as I pressed my hands finally against his wound, but the warm blood kept flowing through my hands and blurring my vision with his crimson. His mouth faintly brushing my forehead with a trembling hand, and there was a soft groan. He dipped forward and collapsed. And I reached down instinctively, only to tumble and fall to the ground, onto the scorching ground. Carol, no! And he resurrected her for around us, screams and frantic footsteps, fading like a distant storm through the thick haze, and in that moment, My entire will shrank to the steady flow of blood from his chest and his weakening weight in my arms. Please wake up, I'm so afraid. And from that day forward, Gabriel vanished from everyone's view, and any debate over his virtues or failings quietly faded away. And as I worked with him for so long, anyone questioned my abilities because of my background or gender. And as part of his family, I effortlessly stepped in his shoes and became the new leader, and I poured the fortune he left behind into new ventures, founding modern schools, building factories, slowly but steadily bringing our shared vision to life. And I inherited his firm and yielding resolve on principles, yet embodied a warmer touch, better attuned to the shifting currents of this new era. His whole story was conforming to my private sanctuary, and everything unfolds just as he wished, steady and true, but we never managed to capture the photo together, no group or picture of us. So I commissioned the finest artisan to enlarge the last portrait ever published of him, and after framing it carefully, hung it here so every day he's close at hand. So you know, our boss as a sister has a man's photo hanging in the study hall. Of course, they say that he's her king and the former leader, but Mama said he was her first love really, oh, you haven't heard. The man she loved the most in her youth, yet never truly had. The bullet from that day didn't really hit the fatal spot, but his hollow tip was filled with a deadly poison, and everyone resented him for cutting their lifelines, for shattering their schemes, for holding power so young, for toying with her destiny like a merciless puppeteer. They didn't want him to die quickly. They wanted to humiliate him, to transform him into a monster, even he himself couldn't bear to be, and slowly fading away in the silent torment until he vanished without a trace. Outside the room rages fiercely storm, roaring through the night, and I sit beside a flickering lamp, wrapped in a thin blanket, a face buried deep within my arms. And then a faint sound stirs outside the door, and in an instant I alert and grab the pistol near the table, aiming it steadily at the prayer wood door. Who? And the door creaks, opens slowly, and a familiar silhouette steps through, and he draws his strange coat and hanging it casually by the door. And before I can even react, he closes the distance and pulls me gun into a fierce embrace, and pointing the gun at me, and our boss only grows more commanding. His embrace holds the shield of the night range, yet beneath his burns an intense, steady warmth. And I freeze on it, and the gun starts slipping from my trembling hands with a sharp clattering on the floor. What brings you here? The rain's pouring down out there. Because today is the day I get to see you. And he lowers his head, gently brushing his skin against my forehead like a big cat finally finding his way home. But isn't today supposed to be Saturday? It's well past midnight now, and waiting until the dawn feels unbearably long, and I miss you so. In that moment of my stress comes and tears, I just felt bad spill over them. The storm's already really bad, and the roads are awful. What if something happens to you? Why didn't you wait for me to come to you? And my voice cracks and was stumbling rush, and he tenderly cuffs the back of my neck and letting me pour out my tears. And my chest is warm and solid, as comforting as ever. Once I nearly lost the warmth forever, and after he was shot, the poison on that bullet nearly claimed his life. And I called in a Navy favor, and with the help of my friend, I brought the finest medical team overnight. Only then barely did we drag him back from the brig, and his life was spared, but the real torment was only beginning, and the vicious thorns that punched straight into his vein lingered like a curse that refused to loosen its grip. And an agony beyond human endurance slowly broke down the will that Geralt had always prided himself on, and he locked himself away, letting no one near, lest it all be me. And all I could do was lean against the door, powerless, listening to his hoarse screams and the sickening thoughts echoing from within, and his sound struck my ears like a blow, reverberating deep in my chest. And once I couldn't take it anymore, I ran inside while the doctor was gone and let me go. Don't touch me, get out. And his eyes were bloodshot and veins bulging at his temple, and he pushed me away with a furious cry. And I hit the ground, scraping my ass and bruising my knee until it turned dark and swollen. The doctor and the others rushed in the commotion, holding him down, and they tried to pull me out, but I shook my head stubbornly, half kneeling on the other hand, braced myself against the wall, and I installed him just like the first time I saw him, in the narrow alley, and cautiously trembling, not said it, but utterly and agreeably drawn to him out the same. Geralt, don't be afraid, it's me, Artsy's sister, don't you recognize me? And when our eyes met, the wall flaming his gaze softened in that instant into something lucid, almost human. Artsy's sister. His hands trembled as he searched for me in confusion, and when he saw the bruise on my body and a look of anguish filled his eyes, deeply seemed to spill over. I'm sorry, I'm so useless. No, you're not at all. You're a hero. And I said, my niece beside him, carefully holding his eyes coherent and enunciated the sentence syllable by syllable. Gera, you're my hero, and I'll be with you, and I'm not leaving you. I love you. And he took his hand from mine, suddenly lugging towards the wall, but crashed into my arms instead. I'm right here, and I'm not going anywhere. Whatever happens, we will face it together. And I pressed his hand to my cheek, and tears breaking loose and sliding down. Please don't hurt yourself, and if it eases the pain, take it out of me instead. Just don't give up. And he looked at me, and the anguish and madness inside slowly softening into a deep, boundless sorrow. And his body trembled, and eyes bloodshot, yet simply pulled me close and tightly as I could hardly breathe. That's enough. All I want is for you to live. And I kissed his disheveled hair, and my hand moving in a soothing circle on his back as I murmured once again, yeah, but I can't live without you. Do you hear me? I can't. And I don't want you to burn yourself or just to burn yourself out just to light the way for others. I want you to be my guiding star. Yeah, but I love you, and I love every part of you. I can't let you go. And his lips had gone dark, and his reddened eyes shimmered with tears that looked ready to dissolve as they touched. And I took a handkerchief and gently wiped the grime from his face. And he just stared at me, unblinking, until a single scabbing tear slipped soundlessly down his pale cheek. After countless sleepless nights and weary days, he finally survived the ordeal. But the poison had left his mark, damage so deep it could never be undone. And he could no longer endure the punishing pace he once tried on, or even the faintest threat from the shadows. So I staged his death. Until the actual Gera was gone, lost to the wounds from a fell assassination. But in fact, I erased him from the public eye and sent him away to a secluded estate far from the chaos. He's no longer the formidable young master who was once the commanding the storms and the halls of power, and shouldered the weight of both airy reverence and resentment, and now he's just Geralt, my Geralt. And I remain in light and continue the path he had begun, and while he free from every shackle stands behind me. And when I need him, he's my most trusted confidence, steady and sharp, ready to tie, guiding my every move. And when peace returned, he spent his days tinkering and inventing machines or experimenting with the search, finally free to indulge in the simple joys he had once only dreamed of. No matter how hectic the week becomes, every Sunday I go to the estate to spend the night with him. You don't have to make the trip anymore, I'll come to you instead. What are you talking about? Your body can't take the strain, and what happened tonight mustn't happen again. And he chuckled softly, curving my face in his hands and wiping away my tears with careful patience. Oh, whenever he assured me that he's fine and pulls out a neatly stacked bundle of medical reports. With their research supported during the epidemic, the medical world has created a more advanced antidote. In years of quiet recovery, they have cleansed the poison from his body, and his brain has returned. The kindness that once saved others, in the end saved them too. He made a miracle out of his own tragedy. Gera might have vanished from the world, but the man you love is still here, alive and by your side forever. And now my throat ties and tears quickly prickle my eyes again. And he draws close and his arms warm around my shoulder and his gaze lingering on the life portrait on the wall. When the sky is clear, let's replace our photo with what? With one of us together. Right. I lay into his chest, feeling steady rhythm into my heartbeat beneath my cheek. And outside at some point the rain has eased and it soft patter against the glass, now tender, almost screaming. And we stand in silent, eyes entwined as the dawn light behind the clouds and finally clashes the long night away. Yeah, look, it's done here. Alright, and then they happily ever after. But I think I just dreamed that enough life makeover for today. Bye bye, God bless.